people and friends. When I first started up the challenge there to dip, Manup got right behind me from the start. Dan and Steve, you've been a massive, massive help to me. We've done videos and that together and we've become friends, I think. So, today was about giving something back to the community, and I put this event on. I didn't want anyone to pay any money for it, and I was going to front the money for the food and everything as well, something I was giving back, but thank fuck. Oh, sorry. Dan fronted it because I didn't see the bill. Manup offered to pay for the food that you lot are going to eat today as well after this event. So I want to thank you, not only for today, but everything you've done. They asked me to be an ambassador for the charity Manup after I completed that challenge. And it's an absolute honour to represent you guys. So, with that being said, I'd like to introduce Manup. Thank you.
Well, we're going on.
Hi, I'm Steve. I'm the chairman of the Board of Trustees. Dan is our CEO. So Dan founded this, well, kind of by mistake, almost really. We went to go and put an event on, or Dan wanted to put an event on. The biggest killer of under 35 men is suicide. Now, when I think about some of the scary things that I did when I was under 35, you know, suicide didn't even come on that scale, you know. Messing around on motorbikes, you know, messing around doing, you know, rock climbing and you name it. Suicide should not be the killer. It's dreadful. There's seagulls out there. MMA, I thought one of them was coming in. At that point, but I mean, you know, our relationship had been going for quite some time at that point. Dan was actually one of my suppliers, so I was a client for Dan, but we kind of hit it off and we were very open in the discussions that we had about client work and so on and so on. And Dan wanted to just put on a thing for 1,000 men. So this is a stretch target, you know, we're not going to get 1,000 men, but let's get a playing field and try and get 1,000 men in there. Now, I was expecting about 20, I've got to be honest with you. We got about 300 something rather, didn't we?
Does anyone mind if I go and dispatch that? Won't be a minute.
Go and dispatch you. You're a butcher. Go ahead. Chef.
Same thing.
Let's give it a go. So I only went there as a car park attendant. You know, can you just come and give us a hand in case we get lots and lots of people there? So we got 300 and something guys there. Would you call that a failure? No, you can't call it possibly a failure, because you've got 300 men who have turned up on a Sunday morning when they could be doing far better things. They've actually come and stuck their hand up. So they're recognising that there is a problem here. And this is all about men, unfortunately, and I'll make apologies to you ladies here. But we're trying to fill a gap here. Now, as time goes on, we have had to create ourselves a charity. COVID comes in the meantime, so we started this event and it was very, very well supported. We had the police there, we had the fire brigade there, we had police monitoring the traffic outside because we had roads closed and all the rest of it because everybody's trying to get into the car park. You know, I mean, it took on a life of its own. COVID comes along, that's it, end of events. We can't do anything, so where we're thinking, oh, you know, we'll do a round 2, excellent, you know, this is going quite well. Can't happen, COVID comes along. So how are we going to change, how are we going to adapt? And bearing in mind, all we're doing is we're saying, talk. We're not saying anything else. That's, you know, Manup is there just to say, do away with the stigma, let's talk. And that's all it is. The very thing which is going to debilitate people with mental health issues is COVID. It's pandemic. It's because people can't go to work, they can't mix, they can't go and see their friends. They're not even virtually allowed out of the house unless they're just going to go and walk around the block. Not allowed to meet anybody. That's horrible for somebody that we're just trying to say, talk, talk, talk. So we started doing videos. And And some of them were one-to-one, some of them were, you know, little groups and so on and so on. But the thing that we found from that, and that was probably our master stroke, really, and we kind of fell on it as an idea. Because all of a sudden we started getting a lot of followers, a lot of people were watching these videos. We'd get 10 likes and we get 15 messages. And that tells you something. So what we're putting out is good, but still people are not going, Steve Rooke likes this. Why does Steve Rooke like this? You know, I'm mates with Steve Rooke. Why does he like this? This is a mental health issue. What's wrong with it? So the stigma is still there. And the stigma is still, even to this day, there. We've done 140 videos, probably, with all sorts. And I mean, when I say all sorts of people, they really are. From the High Sheriff to ex-cons, so to gays, to gingers, to a guy that lived in the submarines because he was in the Navy.
I won't do gingers.
We did have one.
Well, delete that.
But literally people from all walks of life. And this is kind of where we tripped over Sam at that stage and started conversing with Sam. And so this now has taken on, it's exploded. So on our Facebook page, bearing in mind, I mean, we're not promoting any of this stuff, really. It's growing organically. We've got nearly 8,000 followers on Facebook, which tells you they're still a problem.
Is it really?
Yeah. 7.9 something around 1,000. So we've got nearly 8,000 people in there, which tells you there is still a problem. But it's interesting to see the engagement of the videos, because obviously you can see the metrics as you look through Facebook and see what's taking place and what's not taking place, what's successful and what's not successful. But it's the comments that you get back which prove really how successful it is. We turned this into a charity in June 2021, July 2021,
just after COVID,
just after COVID, because it had taken on a life of its own. So there's now 5 of us running it. We've had to get a financial guy in to come and help us deal with charity commission stuff and all the rest of it. Sam said, oh, you know, I'm thinking about turning Dare to Dip into a charity, and I'm like, no, do that, whatever you do. You're going to be filling in forms for the rest of your life. You know,
I bet I was going to get Jack to do it.
Well, he's probably got plenty of time. So, you know, so the thing has really taken on a life of its own. We're very proud to be here. We're very proud of what we do. We're pushing now more into businesses, more into schools and stuff like that, to help them steer themselves into what they should be doing. Not from a point of view that we're advising them, but we're saying, here's a company that's doing the right thing. You might just want to know. And Mike came along and spoke at what we call our ROI event. So we're just taking case studies from typical companies that are dealing with stuff, either at the very, very beginning, and this is our journey, and this is, you know, we might be 6 months down the line, this is what we've done, this has crapped out, but this has been quite good, kind of thing. And involving those people, and we've got a girl that comes down from Briggs, Rosie, whereabouts are they? The Midlands or somewhere, aren't they? Birmingham, somewhere. She drives down, bless her, and she's absolutely so engaged with the mental health thing. They are, they're a very male-orientated workforce. There's about 500-600 of them there, I think. Yeah. And they run into problems occasionally. You're going to, with that number of guys there, you're going to run into problems sooner or later. And it's sad, and she's properly engaged with it, and the things that she does is very enlightening to us. So we're not telling people what to do, we're offering a platform to say, these people know what they're doing. If people want to come along and listen to these people, maybe some of that can go into your lives, into your businesses, into your mates. You know, it's learning, and it's not learning, it's learning how to listen. So when you say, you know, hello mate, you alright? Don't just go, you know, yeah, I'm alright. Listen to the answer. Listen to the answer. Because if they go, no. But don't be afraid to talk. Don't be afraid to question that. But you don't need to say, you know, are you sure you're alright? You know, there's ways and means of doing that, but it's listening to the answer. But I think, you know, I kind of want to hand over to you at this point, because it's about the sobriety.
I just wanted to add on that, because one thing actually we preach quite heavily. Yeah, we tell mostly blokes to speak up, speak up, speak up, but we also promote, if somebody is brave enough to speak to you, shut up. Don't turn into doctor mode, just listen to them. Don't give them feedback unless they ask. Just shut up and listen. I'm probably preaching to the choir here, but that's something we promote, and actually, because we've been spinning on his head, well, not the engagement, but the messages and all this kind of stuff, it's blowing. It's just like, yeah, my husband and my missus have told me this, and now I've learned to shut up. They're focusing on the solution rather than let's do this. Do you get what I mean? It's just shut up. just let them talk, let them listen, let them go out and then process it and work it together. But have I just hijacked?
No, not at all. No, but I think you also wanted to talk about the sobriety from the you know, the 140 odd videos that we've done and what we've gained from that.
Absolutely. It's 140, 200 odd videos. I've done the Zoom stuff, I've done the schools, I've done the unis, I've done the prison backfired quite massively, but that's a different time. On that one. But before Manup, I used to run soup kitchens. I used to have 120 volunteers. You probably see where this is going. I've done some talks with prisons before that. I'm actually a Christian, don't worry, I'm not going to start preaching at you or anything like that, but if anyone wants to be baptised, I'll be able to see in about 45 minutes. But the one thing what I've seen in the church world, when I've done stuff with prisons, with the soup kitchens and all of that kind of stuff as well, as soon as the pisshead comes along, there is that shame. There's a massive shame within that person about, even when they're on their road to recovery. You started your talk on it, is where you felt the need to apologise, continue apologising to your parents. I think you said that at the beginning, didn't you?
Can't remember.
But you know, I see that pattern with so many addicts. Strangely enough, more with people who have problems with drinks. It's like there's some sort of like hidden shame of like what they put their family through. Thankfully, I've never been an alcoholic. I've been rat-assed way too many times, but I've never had a problem. Cocaine was my problem. Absolutely loved it, with a little ketamine pudding every now and again. But you know what? As soon as I got clean and all this kind of stuff, everyone's just like, well done, well done, well done. I've noticed with alcoholics, when they're on their road to recovery, they still hold on to that shame. It's just like, should you be having that? Should we let them go to the pub? Does that kind of make sense? It's just that shame never goes away. But when I speak to people, not so much now because I stopped doing soup kitchen, when I speak to the people who have relapsed, the one thing what they couldn't shake off and why they relapsed was because of the shame. It's like it's just that hidden discussion between their families with their spouses and their partners. I don't know what the solution is with that. I'm sitting, you lot are a lot more educated. I was a cokehead, I've never been a pisshead or an alcoholic, what the terminology you want to use. But when I got clean myself, I walked away from it. That's it. I started a volunteer charity. But pretty much every single retired alcoholic I've spoken to always starts off with that discussion. So I feel that shame about my family and whatever else. And when I've spoken to people who have been released from prisons and they've relapsed, when I've spoken to people at soup kitchens or even in the God Squad Brigade, when they've relapsed, I couldn't deal with the shame. I don't know what to offer you. I don't even know who to speak to and all of that kind of stuff. But there seems to be that hidden discussion within their head. That's the one thing I find what makes a relapse. And so I'd like to say I could offer a solution. I don't know. But if any of you can relate to that, please do speak to anybody here. These guys are way more qualified on that. But if you are getting clean, you are clean and whatever else, just make sure you do deal with that shame. Because actually what might surprise you, that's your mum there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't need to say to it anymore, does it? It's clean. Well done to you. You're doing it, and you're doing bloody well with it. And everyone I've spoken to, but it does just something. I feel like I'm rambling, so I apologise. But there just seems to be that taboo. That's the one thing where I see where people relapse. I think that's it. I don't know how to end that. And I feel like
I'll just jump in quickly if that's right. That's why I feel there's fellowships that are very good out there where you work steps and stuff, and that deals with a lot of that stuff. So that's why it works for a lot of people. And I'd recommend anyone exploring that.
Can I sit down? Can I sit down?
Yeah. The reason why we're here. The dip today, like I said at the beginning, was for my friend Felixstowe, who took his own life. We've had 3 male speakers up here that have all thought about suicide at some point. You know, I know plenty of friends since I've opened up and spoke about it. What I always say is everyone's mental health is important to me, but we can't argue with the numbers. 75% of all suicides are male, and it is because a lot of blokes are, and I think that it's starting to change a little bit. You know, people are talking about it more, which is fantastic, but there's still a lot of work to be done when it comes to that. You know? On my own personal experience, I've been suicidal on a number of occasions. And I've dealt with a lot of stuff in sobriety on my own before, and I struggled like mad. And I was trying to, my ego wouldn't let me speak to anyone about it, and thought I could fix it myself, which is where I think a lot of blokes go wrong. Right? It wasn't until the fact that I said, well, I can't handle this anymore, and I broke down and I opened up. Some might say a little too much these days. But that's when the weight of the world come off my shoulders, and what that does is when you say, oh, I'm done here, and other people are here, me too, and it starts a conversation, and with conversations become solutions. And I think with a bit of luck in the future, you'll see that number starting to come down. Hopefully.
It'd be nice. It would be nice.